Okay, you want to share your screen before?
Yeah, I will just share my screen with you. Can you see
Okay,
my screen?
I can see your screen.
Okay.
Right click on that white one.
I have to do it
VMware
on.
ESXi. On the braces, it is written over there too. Right click over there.
Okay.
Go to it. Not okay, fine. Go to settings. So you don't have two disks added, do you?
No, I have only one.
Right. So how will you exactly explain it in the physical world?
Uh,
What exactly happened?
I have only one hard disk. So this VMware, what do you call it? The host machine for the
Yes.
where VMware EXSI is installed.
Mm,
It has only one hard disk and there is no external hard disk connected to it.
correct. Okay. So power it off. Add a hard disk.
Okay.
Do the labs. Do the labs. You can do the labs on your own even.
Okay. Should we first shut it down and then power off, or it's okay to straight away power it off?
Shut down and power off two different opinions to shut down a system. Once you power it off, that means you have just unplugged the cable, right?
Yeah.
Once you are doing shutdown, you are doing it a graceful shutdown.
Mhm. So like a general practice which we should follow is we should here also first shut it down, right?
Right. One more thing. So if you don't have VMware tools installed, shutdown is not going to work. That means the virtual machines that you are creating over here should have VMware tools installed. This ESXi does not require a VMware tools as such. Otherwise, if you install Windows Server 2008, Windows Server 2012, Windows Server 2016, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows XP, whatever, you
Mhm.
require VMware tools in that case. We'll come to that. There is a bit of understanding of VMware tools as well.
Okay. Okay.
Go to settings, add a disk.
Mhm. Yeah.
Click on hard. It's okay. Hard disk is already selected. Click on next.
Mhm.
Fine.
Uh,
SCSI is okay. Click on next. Click on create a new virtual disk. On next. Use a single disk. Single file. Set the size. Click. Select a single file.
the single cell, right?
What is the difference? What is the difference? Let's finish it off now. So what is the
Okay.
difference between a single file and a multiple file? What happens is that VMDK file that is created over there that you show that this virtual machine is exactly a VMDK file in fact, right? So a VMDK file that will be created for this virtual machine, how many files will be there? There will be one VMDK, or if it is
Mhm.
a 40 GB, let's say VMDK file. So will it be divided into several pieces of 2 GB each? It will not be more than 2 GB. It will not be less than 2 GB. In fact, it will be 2 GBs. That means it will be sliced off into 2 GBs, and multiple files will be created. If you are using a single file, that means only one VMDK of 40 GB will be created. Got the point?
Okay.
So what
Okay.
makes the difference? Why are these two approaches taken there? Let's say you have a pen drive, right, which is a FAT32. So you cannot create a file more than a 4 GB over there in FAT32 if I'm not wrong. So I made a mistake. The multiple files will be a crunk of 4 GB. It will not be 2 GB. So that if you want to take backup of this virtual machine, that means you are exactly going to copy this VMDK file in fact. So this VMDK file, once you start copying in a FAT32 file system, it's 40 GB. It will tell you that no, I cannot just be copied into a FAT file system. It's because it does not support 40 GB direct transfer. So 4 GBs crunk of 40 GBs, that means 10 crunks, it can be transferred into a pen drive, which is a FAT file system. Got the point. So now the pen drives can be formatted into NTFS, and then again, it does not matter. You transfer at 40 GB or 100 GB in that case. But still, for some older compatibilities, old people with that, this facilities given.
Okay.
Got the point?
But if you do this in a single, then it will make a single file of 40 GB.
Yes, and that will be easier, and it will be easily visible even. Right.
Okay. But then in that case, we will face some problems in copying it to.
Yeah, copying it to some older mechanisms like NFS that does not support transfer of more than 2 GB. You might be knowing all these cases when you transfer something into a network. There is a amount of transfer that can take place in our cable over there, right? It's in the same way.
Okay, and when we do it into multiple files, this 2 GB is by default, or we
No,
can
2 GB,
change
no,
it?
4 GB, dear, 4 GB. I mistakenly told you for 2 GB, right? So it's 4 GB. 4 GB's file will be created over there. That means there will be multiple VMware files named accordingly. Like ESX001, ESX002, 003. This will .vmdk, .vmd. This sort of files will be created. You do
And
it
this
once.
is
Look at the folder. You'll understand it yourself.
okay, and it will always be 4 GB, right? We cannot change it.
You cannot change it. That is
Okay,
made that way, designed that way, and for that way.
okay, okay.
Okay, wait. Backward. There is one option called allocate all disk space now, right?
Yeah, I
That
think
means
this is 6 provisioning something, right?
exactly got the point. Click on next now.
Yeah.
That means see VMware Workstation and ESXi's vSphere or ESXi plus vSphere is not different. They have designed these two products, right, for different classes of people. One who wants to use a whole lot of VMware workstation features, they can make a full-fledged thing, or they're in a very low cost.
Right. Okay.
You don't need to do that. You named it disk too. It will automatically create a file with a different name. But for your
No,
identification, if you want to keep
yeah,
it,
because it has renamed it as 0, so I just made it disk 2 so that it's 0.
okay. So click on OK.
Now I should see 2. Okay.
Yes, fire it up. No. Don't do it from here, right? So make it a habit. You should right click over here at VMware ESXi2. There's no white band. Not there.
Here, from here.
No, not from here. So where is home? Where is home written over there? Home tab, and we have a VMware ESXi62 tab. Right. So that's the next tab.
Okay.
Click on
From
that.
here
Right click over.
and from here.
Yes. See the interface is much different, right? So you'll find almost all the features that is required to make this operatable. The ecosystem's branches are here, right?
Okay.
It'll take time.
And one more thing, when you were looking for this OVA file in your system, you were getting an option to mount this file because you did not, it was in OS like this, and you just right clicked and you got an option to mount it.
Right.
And
Correct.
why am I not getting it?
Because you have installed so many programs that exactly supports opening this ISO file. Mount option is
Okay.
not by default available. You would have set that program that way. Wait a second. Open this. Right
Because
click
I
this.
can also extract it by
Right click
WinZip.
over here. Right click over here. Open with. Go to open with. Yeah, down. No. Closer. Right click over here. Right click open with. There is a place where it is written open with.
Yeah.
Click on this. Click on Windows. No. Click on choose default program. Choose default program.
And disk burner.
Okay. No. Disk burner is to use to burn the thing. Right. Click on other programs. These are simple tweakings that we system administrators used to do years back. But again, now it is not required. Click on this. Click on this. Always use the selected program open this kind of file. Just let this checkbox be. Okay, let this checkbox be on. Click on browse. Go to Windows. C:/Windows. It's in program files. Click on C right there. Right. Click on go down. Click on Windows. Double click. Type in there explorer.exe. Type in there. 5 minutes. Okay. Open. Okay. I mean to say okay. This should open up in Windows Explorer. Just trying to do something. No, it didn't open. Wait a second. Let me search for some other program that can test that they do this one. Right click over here again. Open with. Go to open with.
Yeah, did it.
Did it? Done?
Yeah.
It's opening?
No, I think it's trying to do it but not able to.
No, it's not able to do it. It's trying to do that. Right. So right click over here. I'll just abort. It is not going to abort that way. It's working with something. Open with. Click on open with. And choose 7-zip file manager. Still it's doing something, isn't it? Close that.
But it oh, I got it. Maybe it's software updating. Is it?
And it's because of the software, right? So you have a software called 7-zip that basically supports opening of ISO files, and that is by default set. Okay, whatever. So the machine is on, right? So log into the browser. Don't use Internet Explorer, right?
Because on the Chrome we were getting that error, nah? Then you have to reload and reload and reload.
I understand. It's okay, but again, the refreshing thing what I have found in this Internet Explorer that not work properly, and this whole Ajax thing is exactly working inside, right? So the browser has a bit of, you can say, efficiency there. Yes, try it out. What happened? You have a vSphere web client opens in one of the tabs.
Yeah, I closed everything because it was that lab which I told you, no?
You refresh, just refresh this. No, don't reload.
Refresh from top.
Just refresh from top. It will crash.
Okay.
See, everybody is trying to sell their product in the market. This is a bug. That is it.
But this is because we are using a free version, or it comes otherwise?
Nothing. Like you download a latest version of Google Chrome, right? And latest version of ESXi. It will still do the same. Still crashing in your. That means you refreshed it from above, and it's still crashing. Okay, go and use Internet Explorer only. Leave.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. Okay. God's grace, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Add the disk. Correct.
Where is the old disk? There should be at least one disk. I have to create both the data stores.
No, no, why? You have one data store. See, it's written over there. One. So you have got one data store. The
One
screen
I
is not full. So the screen is not exactly that way.
uh,
Right.
okay.
Right. Nobody is going to tell that their product is not complete. So click on new data store. Click on this. Next. No, you are not installing. Okay, so you are VSSIS and this is the main file. Correct. File system. VMFS is a file system like FAT and TFS.
Yeah. So make it leave
We
it
are
5,
creating
right?
file system. You're using five. Even this works because of backward compatibility. Let's say you have ES6i 5.5 working in your organization. You want to implement 6.5. So where will this virtual machine physically go? Finish. Pull it down. Pull it down. Yes. Every time you have to do this. Remember that they have given you a task. This is your task.
Okay, now I can create a view.
Deploy a VF template. I have faced this problem of local host that is not getting an IP address, this and that. Every time that I have used an VF, try it on your machine. Let's see what happens. We'll go with the next method. Once you start this one, I'll go for the next method on my lab. Okay, select the file. Select the file. Select the file from there. You extracted it somewhere.
Yeah, I've accepted it. Yeah.
Fine.
Hmm. This too.
Properly, huh? Yes. Real network. Fine. That is okay. 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 Here, do you understand what do you mean by tiny, small, and different deployment types there?
I think it's related to the size it will take, right? Like
So
2
read this one, you will
CPUs,
understand
10
one
GB
of them.
memory, and requires 250 GB of disk space. So if you make it bigger, then it will be more CPUs, more memory, and more disk.
Depending
I
upon the
think,
size of an organization, we'll choose that.
yeah, how big you want it to be. And these are always pre-configured. These
So,
options are always standard.
what you will do? You'll start with a small or a tiny over
I
there
think
in
tiny.
a
I
real
think
time.
tiny. In the real time.
In real time,
Uh, uh, I think it will depend on how big you want to make it. Or I think at least small it should be, no?
correct. At least small should be there, right?
Tiny is must be for the lab purpose.
Right. Tiny is for test environment, right?
Test
So
environment.
in organizations, we'll have a test lab. We'll have their ESXi's. So in that, we will create virtual vCenter servers with a tiny deployment. One thing.
Yeah.
Create a password.
But this network configuration also.
Okay, let's go for a network configuration. I don't want this to have an IP address manually. So your network is configured. Did your ESXi get an IP address from DHCP?
Yes. And then I changed
Fine.
it and then it was manual.
Okay. So if that is getting an IP address from DHCP, this is also going to get an IP address from DHCP if you have not exactly made changes to that network configuration. Where exactly the changes I'm talking about, go back one or two steps. Go back one or two steps. Yes, here one step. So back next time.
Yeah.
So this one VM network. So if you have multiple network cards, it will show you multiple network cards under your network mappings there. Right. So since you have only one network interface card in ESXi, it's showing you that same network interface card over there under VM network. We'll discuss about that. But remember that in an organization where they already have an infrastructure and you are deploying this, there might be multiple choices for you. Click on this, click on next. Okay, so click on this network configuration. Just go and click on that I. Okay, so you remember that. And you want to take IP address from DHCP, what it should be. Yes, correct, DHCP. That means I don't need this one. I don't need this one. I don't need this one. I even don't need this one. I even don't need. Do I need that? This? Click on that. Click on that.
This is host name.
I guess so. I did off studio. After it, put a given name VCSA00. Okay, VCSA00. Fine. Give the password. Remember that you haven't made a mistake, right? Okay.
Okay.
Paper.
Yeah.
Be confident that you have not made a mistake. You have assigned the password. You have said that the system A is going to take an IP address from DHCP server, right?
Right.
Okay. Click on finish.
Why do we get this? At least one
extra disk was provisioned that was ignored. There are several hard disks attached to this one. Wait a second. Do I find this? Right. So there are. See, you can see that disk 1, disk 2, disk 3 over there under disks. Product VM name disks. There are several hard disks. That means this OVF file itself is made of several hard disks. It is not able to apply one of the disks to the image. Maybe because of some reason. Either maybe the image is corrupt. That is also quite possible.
Okay.
You can finish.
But we can ignore this.
So it's an information. Sorry, it's an information. It's not a something. It's not even information. This is called warning, right?
It's a warning.
It's a warning. Okay. So click on finish.
Okay.
You download it once, right? Do you use torrent in Germany? It's banned.
Yeah, it's banned, and especially in office we cannot.
Right, so in office you cannot, right? So at your home you can do that.
Yeah, in my personal laptop.
So your personal laptop. That means your Wi-Fi, whatever you want, you can do that. This is what is there in Germany, right? In your office you cannot use that. Like India. Okay. I sent you the links. You download this VMware vCenter server app and use it at your site over there. See what happens. Okay, so it will take time to deploy.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Let's jump back to my.
Stop sharing.
Okay, I'll start sharing screen. So can you see my screen?
Yeah. Now I can see.
Okay. So what we did, that's what I did last day, is that I prepared one vCenter server. Wait a second. Which connection I am having? Okay. I prepared a lab for you all, right? So we have three ESXIs, ESXi1, ESXi2, ESXi3. You can find the IP address at the bottom, 124. This is a typical example of an organization that is already running an infrastructure, right? So you have a bit of idea how to create an infrastructure, so you'll be able to understand this. So this is your first ESXi with this name, this IP address. Same this second system or this IP address there. This is the configuration. So see the configuration of the first machine is a bit tight in there with the 16 GB of RAM, and we have second machine with 4 GB of RAM, third machine with 4 GB of RAM. So there is a bit of typical thing that is to be understood with this infrastructure is that we have got two identical machines and one machine with some extra gigabits in there. Why? Because we are going to run vCenter server and other critical servers like Active Directory and all on this system, right? And we'll take its backup somewhere else. This too will use as your virtual desktop infrastructures, VDIs, right, to create your virtual desktops and throw these virtual desktops somewhere else. Load balance between these two, fault tolerance between these two. Some sort of DRS mechanism will apply between these two, but this exactly will not participate in that game over here. What this will do, this will keep all those servers like infrastructure servers like Active Directory, DNS, you can say NPS, and vCenter server, obviously. So we have ESXi, and we can just go and browse through this ESXi through this mechanism. Wait a second, I'm not yet complete. This organization earlier, okay, how exactly this infrastructure has grown from this field of, or from this age of Windows NT 4.0. Let's understand that first of all. People started using Windows NT 4.0 to come up with a network that is centralized, having centralized administration, right? So NT 4.0 was Windows' first product that gave something called Active Directory. People exactly took that technology and they adopted it in an enterprise. Now, Microsoft tried to design that product in a better manner, and they came up with a new technology called Windows Server 2000. It had the same capabilities as your Windows NT 4.0, but it was having some additional capabilities, like two significant, I'll tell you. One of them was in NT 4.0 was is that you can have a hard disk of only 8 GB, while in Windows 2000 it was much higher than that. 64 terabytes was the limit over there in Windows Server 2000. Windows NT 4.0, how much it was? 8 GB. Okay. So next thing, you can create only 40,000 users in Windows NT 4.0. I'm talking about which year? Around 1995, 1997. That part it was enough, fine. So people grew over there to Windows. Gave us Windows. Microsoft gave us Windows 2000. Windows 2000 was again developed to 2003. 2003 was developed to 2008. So people that time, virtualization exactly didn't pick up that market. Windows 2008, people started picking up into virtualization, right? Windows, even Microsoft didn't give Hyper-V in Windows Server 2008. From a second edition of Windows Server 2008 or Windows Server 2008 Service Pack 2 started giving Hyper-V. So virtualization came around Windows 8, right? So which is around Windows which year? 2008. So let's consider that Windows this architecture is of year 2008. So why I'm telling you this? This organization will have a DNS server that is running under Windows, right? It will have some sort of network attached storage to keep its data. Then it started moving itself towards virtualization. So he installed ESX and he has 16 GB RAM into that. Now he'll install vCenter server into it and move those whole of lot of of VDI sort of environment between these two. But these are two earlier machines. That means this is their DNS infrastructure, this is their storage infrastructure, which already existed. Now what they have to do, they have to bring these infrastructures along with this one. Did you get this point, Vibhor?
Not very well.
Okay. What is the function of DNS?
So your domain name server, basically it looks up your IP addresses against a domain.
Okay. Okay. So do you have DNS server at your home?
No, I mean it should be connected to. I think kind of in my router it should be, which maps my internal the private IPs to the corresponding IP addresses.
Right. So you are having DNS server at your home, correct? But it's a caching only DNS server because it caches the data. It's not exactly having some sort of DNS entries. Okay, am I correct?
Yeah.
Now look at your enterprise. What is the smallest enterprise size that you have seen that has a DNS server? How many servers did it have? Try to recall that. Okay, so you might have recalled that. So an organization exactly started using server mechanisms from your Windows operating system. Windows NT 4.0 was the first operating system that gave this approach. Earlier they had Linux sort of environment as your DNS server, NIS server, this and that, but exactly server sort of concept, easiness in servers started with Windows, right? So people started using NT 4.0, they implemented DNS. So okay, now first of all, in a nutshell, there are exactly 10 different types of servers: file server, print server, application server, mail server, FPAMT, terminal server, R, routing and remote access server, FPAMT-R, D for domain controller, DHCP server, S streaming media server, and W is Win server, which is obsolete. So we have 9 different types of servers. In any organization, you will find almost all these servers, right? So they might have implemented this either in Linux or in Windows, but they'll have this infrastructure. Now they are moving towards virtualization to keep these machines safe and sound. Got this point? Vibhor, I cannot hear you.
Yeah, right.
So we are exactly trying to imagine that this organization, which exactly was working years back, they have their DNS infrastructure and one machine that acted as a central storage. So it's a free NAS, it's a software that acts like your NAS, network attached storage. What is NAS? Do you know what is a NAS?
Earlier I did not know. I say network as storage. So yes, so it's a common storage where like a shared storage, right? You can.
I didn't understand. Explain me a bit.
So it's a storage which is placed at a different location, and your different servers can connect to that storage and access the files on that storage.
Okay. So you have a router at your home, as you said, right? So that router might have some Ethernet interfaces. Am I correct?
Yeah. Right.
So you purchase a system, insert a hard disk into that, right? And create a folder in Windows. Let's imagine that it has Windows, right? So create a folder into that. Right click any one of the folder that you have created, go to properties, go to sharing, go to advanced sharing, and share this folder and click on OK and done. This becomes a file server. Got the point?
Okay. Yeah.
This becomes a file server. Now people can see files from here, and if permitted, put files at this place. Now, network attached storage is a small system that is designated or designed to keep only files. Got the point? Now, any organization that is significantly big will try to save its data. So when you go for some sort of security classes, you'll understand that there are organizations complaints that we have to keep our backup at 5 different places minimum. This is a compliance, this is a rule. So we keep our backup in different places, but network attached storage is one of the storage that can be directly plugged like a computer to the Ethernet interface anywhere, and the data can be uploaded into that. That means you purchase an NAS and you directly plug it into a router. It will be visible to all the computers on your system, right? Through this option called network overview. Otherwise, you'll have to use some FTP if it is not there. Whole lot of procedures there, whatever. It's a box with some hard disk which acts like a file server. That is it. This is NAS, network attached storage. Okay. So this box exactly, where did it go? Yeah. This box is exactly a NAS. We have assumed it that it's a box. It acts like a storage whose IP address is this 192.1.172.16.1.10. Got the point? That means this organization has a DNS server and a VMware is what do you say, storage or NAS storage over there. When you are bringing this ESXises online, you gave this ESXises some name. Remember, using F2 settings, name, domain name, isn't it? Right. So let's say you have got 4,000 ESX servers throughout the globe. Now you want to manage all of them. So would you be able to use IP address to manage all these 4,000 servers? No, it's quite difficult. So give them a proper name and use DNS resolution for that. Got the point?
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Old infrastructures, DNS will be used to map the IP address and fully qualified domain name of these ESXi's. Got the point? So this was the destination. So this is our DNS server. So wait a second. How this is a DNS server? This I have taken that as a remote desktop. 192.168.124.10. Whose IP address exactly is at this location. This one. Got the point? I could have entered here this way, man, but I took a remote desktop of this one. Is that clear?
Yeah.
I show it this way. Okay, fine. So I took a remote desktop of that. This is the internal structure of that machine that we are seeing. Now let's go to DNS and let me show you the things. So DNS is already open over here. So I created a forward lookup zone vclass.local. How do we do that? New zone. Click on next. Click on next. Let's say yesterday I gave in my example my domain.net. So I'll create a zone called my domain.net. Click on next. Click on next. Finish. A zone is created, my domain.net. Right? This is something about network infrastructure that you are learning. Right click over here, new host. Let's say your ESXi has a name of ESXG1 that we created over here, and it has an IP address of 192.168.124.161. So click on this, click on add host. Okay, done. So
this name is also relevant here. It should be same, or only the host name and the IP addresses are relevant here?
Good question. DNS is a post office, right? Wherein you exactly register the name and the location of that person. Got the point? That is the name of the system and the IP address of that system. And this you do by right click, new host, that you did now. Now this machine can be fake, this machine can be real. It doesn't matter. It's function of DNS to resolve it. But in real time, what you will do? You'll have a machine that you have exactly installed, given it that name, came to DNS, created a record with type A relevant to that machine's name and that machine's IP address. Got the point? Okay. So in my example, so this is what I did. So I'm deleting this one. So I have a vclass.local, and inside that vclass.local I have this same SA-ESX01 this, and it has an IP address of this. I'm deleting this for you and I'll create it once again. So right click, new host, ESX, sorry, it was SA.ESX-01. it will automatically take SA-ESX-.01, and where it is coming from, this one, SA-ESX, right, .01. So I just did a mistake. It's ESXi01. It's ESXi01, and the IP address is 192.168.124.1. So this is the record that you have to come and create manually over here in DNS. Otherwise, you'll have to communicate to your DNS guys and tell them that, yeah, I have a machine that I have installed. This is where you have, this is the IP address of that machine, and this is the name that I have given. Okay, so this is done for all the three ESX sizes. ESXi 01, 02, and 03. I have three different records. So just click on this one, you'll be able to visualize it easily. So this is 11, 12, 13, and Leo. Others, I'm using the same DNS server for all the things that I am actually doing in my home lab over there. So the ESXi 01, 02, 03, these are three different machines over there. So you can see there that I installed two Vcenter servers, SA-VCSA-00. This was the name, and this was the IP address that I exactly might have given that. But we have deleted that machine. So SA, this was a VCSA, this one was the machine with this IP address. So I don't have 18 being used over there. So this is a way you can even visualize that which machine has which IP address particularly. Got the point?
Okay. And this every time it has to be done manually. There is no process that is dynamically.
Correct. Now, this is again a very nice question. If your client side system, this is a DNS server, right? So ESX is acting as a DNS client for that. Am I correct?
Right.
So on the client side, if you have Windows system now, it will automatically register its name to your DNS server. But if you have Unix, the language is different. The talking method is different between these two operating systems. So how can exactly one make its record being thrown to the DNS server over there? Got the point? So on the other one, ESX is Unix, so you cannot throw the record directly. There you can design. You can tell your developers, design me an API that can do this for me. So it can be done. It's not that this cannot be done. Through an API, this can be done. Okay. So now what? Now.
And we can also have a Linux-based DNS server.
Yes. But still, you have to go there and create your A record over there in the zones. Methodology will not change.
Okay.
And if it is a Unix environment, one thing before, it's if it's a Unix system, there is no method to register dynamically. If it is a Windows or a Linux, you have to go there and create manually. Unix is a Unix is considered, or Linux is considered secure. In Linux, we have got this method of dynamic creation. That means if there is a man-in-middle attack, somebody spoofs the network and just pushes the record over there into the DNS server and tries to find out all the other systems that is there in the DNS environment over there, right? But in Unix, that cannot be done that easily. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so this is your ESX1, right? What I'm trying to do, what I have already done, right? I have already done one thing, that I have installed Windows Server 2016 as a virtual machine inside this ESXi, right? So let me show you that. So how will I show you that? Let's come to this process. So this is the IP address 192.168.124.11. Whose IP address is this? Weber?
I
Okay, no
don't
problem.
remember actually to which machine we gave it.
Okay. Whose IP address is this?
EXSI1.
Correct. So I'm accessing ESXi1. Okay. So I have got 3 virtual machines. I was exactly experimenting with that error that you might have got. Look at your installation. What did it work? What did you find?
Just a second. Logged me out.
It's still working?
It logged me out.
Okay, so log in. Well, log in once again and see what happened to the bar. There was a bar running here.
There's nothing it's showing on the bar. I think the task got refreshed, but I can check
Okay,
if
so
VMware.
yes, go to virtual machine. See that virtual machine is there on.
Root password not set. RPM installation failed.
Right. See, I don't know what has exactly happened, but every time once you install this OVF file, I'm actually finding this error. Either there is a problem with the ISO image, right, that I am basically having, or I'm basically uploading even and distributing over there to you. But again, there is some error. We'll sort it out. Still, we have got a second way to install this vCenter server, right? So what we have to do, we have to install Windows server. Sorry.
The installable file.
Yes, correct. We'll use that installable. We'll manually install that, right? I'm not just ignoring this one that this didn't work out. I'll work out from my side. I'll share the link to download download from the torrent. That means I'll just send you the magnet link over the mail. Download it from the torrent. Try to install it once again. See, I also want that to be successful, but I don't remember that last time when I made it successfully done. Okay, so this is the machine. So let's click on this one. Okay, let's go to console and I'll open it in a new tab. So this is a Windows Server 2012 machine, right? So what exactly next thing that we need to do? Next thing is that we have to install VMware Tools into this one. So guest OS, install VMware Tools. Now here comes a bit of lecture on VMware Tools. Once you don't install VMware Tools, you will find that there are graphics that is hanging. There is a mouse lag, and the time is in fact not properly synchronized, and the memory management, which you will not feel, but it internally happens, is not proper. So like your physical machines, once you purchase those physical machines, once you want that sound to be working, network card to be working, a card reader to be working, you install drivers for that. There are certain drivers for your virtual machines as well, which is in fact bundled in VMware Tools. So you don't need to download it from somewhere. Once you install ESXi, it comes already prepared with VMware Tools. In case you lose that, go to Google, find out. You can download it and just push it to one of the directories and it will be again available. So once you just right click over here and right click and go to guest OS and install VMware Tools. I did it, but it didn't work. So what happened? See, okay, so the result is mount failed. Okay, so the mount was completed. That was why the mount failed. That means once it is already mounted, so why it will mount it once again. So you can see that we have got a recent task that is showing that the mount exactly failed because the mount is already completed. So let's come to that. Why did I show you this one? We generally don't face attention to this place. We generally don't face. Even I don't face a bit of my eyes towards this place. But exactly this gives us a real nice picture what exactly is happening. Okay, so let's click on console. Okay, the console is already there. So we have to go to. So can I maximize this? Wait a second.
And these VMware tools are when you right click and you try to install it, so they are already, from where does it pick this up?
Exactly, in ESXi there is a folder, right, that is having a bundle of these drivers, so you don't have to worry about downloading that VMware tools and installing it. It's a tool, it's inbuilt. That is it. But again, my guru told me, that is why I told you that sometimes it's quite possible people want to make the things lightweight, so they delete those tools over there, and ESXi really becomes a very nice lightweight environment over there. So in that case, you want to install VMware tools again after a virtual machine has been installed. That is, you have to download and install. There's a procedure for that. There's a folder. It's a very no very big science there. There is a command. You have to run that. To CP is the command that is used in Linux. Copy the file to that location where exactly it's intended. That's it. Okay. So once you click on this PC, okay, again come to the point. Right click, guest OS, install VMware tools. Come to virtual machine. That means come to the console, and you have got virtual machine tools being mounted as your CD DVD drive. Double click this one. You have to install VMware tools for each and every virtual machine that you are creating, a new virtual machine that you are creating. Otherwise, that virtual machine will not perform well. Remember that. Virtual machine tool is very important. Even in your VMware workstation, this is what is recommended, that install VMware tools.
This is the console of the EXSI VCA.
And this is an illusion, huh? Okay. Now let me explain here. This is your RDP done to my DNS server in my infrastructure. On that our DNS server itself, I have installed a browser called Google Chrome, and using that Google Chrome, I have exactly logged onto your ESXi box, and from that I have basically lost in my console. The point is that don't just mess up. You can do this thing right from your cell phone. Everything is connected. Everything is done through a browser. So why should we be worried that from where I am connected? Till the time we are able to reach this IP address from a device, we'll open the web browser of that device and run this one. It's an HTML file, to HTML5 version that is running over here on this page. So particularly it will be running on any device that actually supports HTML5, and almost all the devices support HTML5. So don't just bother that where it is running. Wait a second. Now this will not worry you.
This vCenter server, this is Windows based.
Vcenter server is even Windows based. That is why I exactly told you that this has to be shown, and it works properly. This one works properly.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that it's Windows based.
Let the installation start, then I'll give you a lecture here. Why VMware made a VMware vCenter server that is installable on Windows? People in market are generally having Windows licenses. So it was very easy for them to sell this product, telling them that, okay, fine, you can just plug it into your existing infrastructure. This is what I'm basically murmuring since last half an hour, that we have infrastructure ready, right? So you will find certain DNS servers, Active Directory. You have to merge your infrastructure to that.
Okay.
So what you will do now, first of all, in your environment, let's say that your VMware vCenter server appliance installation gets successful by God's grace. Fine, okay, it works. If it didn't, you'll have to install a Windows Server 2016 now as a virtual machine with almost 10 GB of RAM inside that, or something, let's see. And after that, you have to install your vCenter server into that. Got the point? OVF was easy. It was drag that or just point it to that OVF file, click on next, and agree this and that, and fill up the username and password, and finish. The system will automatically deploy that as a machine. But here you have to install it. Okay, so VMware Tools is installed, right? Now what we need to do next, is to set up a few things. So first of all, I'll prefer taking this as an RDP. Go to local server, Vmware, where are you?
Yeah.
Are you able
Hello?
to remember these things? Are you able to remember these things? How much?
Local server.
A local server, I am not able to click on that.
Yeah, it happens here also. I just press enter and sometimes it works.
Okay. So there are certain preliminary configurations that you have to do once you have installed this Windows Server 2016. First of all, you'll have to set this computer name. Then if you are working in real time, you should download the updates and make it up to date, so that nobody exactly is able to penetrate into your system there. So this is your computer name. Let's first of all set this computer name. Click on this, click on properties, click on change. Preliminary installation is pretty easy. Preliminary configurations are a bit difficult. See what is a preliminary configuration that you did. The preliminary configuration is you set up a DNS server and you set up a record. This is the preliminary configuration. Installation is pretty easy. Installation is not difficult. Okay, so what should I name it? So VCS A001. Okay, VCS 01. Fine. So work group. Okay. Close. Obviously.
But this same installable file, you don't have a Linux based so that we could directly install it on the previous
No,
VSphere drive.
no. See, Photon OS itself is Linux, right? So it's having a bash shell. It's having a kernel of 4.4. 4.4. What do you mean by 4.4? Red Hat Linux 7 is 3 dot something. Red Hat Linux has the latest version of Red Hat Linux 7, so which is 3 dot something. That means they have rewritten this Linux with a new kernel to make it 4.4. Now, why did they do that? Photon OS is particularly designed for containers sort of thing. You might have heard about this term, containers. If you exactly don't know, don't just panic. So containers sort of environment. So if you want to implement containers in your VMware infrastructure, you should go for something called Photon OS. And now where will you find this Photon OS? Photon OS is exactly the embedded OVF file that you have just run. That means if your system powers on, right, during power on, you'll see a Photon page over there. So OVF is Linux with your vCenter server. While for Windows, they cannot give that because will Microsoft give its product? Okay, fine, take my product and build this vCenter as embedded with this one. It's not an open source. It cannot do that. So it gave an installer for that.
Okay. So if you want to install it directly on Linux, then there is no installable. It's
No installable.
only the
No.
OVF.
OVF, and that too Photon OS does not give that performance. I don't know where is this sound coming from. So there is what did I say for Photon OS? I don't love that performance. It's not worth for as of now, right? Until unless your hardware is quite good, you wanted 28 GB of RAM and 8 SMP microprocessor, it works well. Photon OS, no doubt, I have working infrastructure, I have seen that it's working there, right? My implementation, it works properly, but you require real good hardware for that. Windows, okay, small enterprises, Windows, it is going to work properly. And even why small? There are a whole lot of organizations, they have their Windows licenses. They'll purchase the Windows license and Windows guys even can manage them.
So in my home lab, I have to create a Windows virtual machine on EXSI, and
Yes,
then
and
on
then
top of that, I have to install this.
you have to install this. If that Photon OS installation or your vCenter server appliance installation fails, and if what, if it succeeds, I'll give you a 5-star chocolate. I guess that there is an image problem there, right? I'll download it once again. I'll save to tomorrow. Send keys, Control Alt D. This is how you do Control Alt Delete over there in a browser window. Nice thing about this product, what exactly people have reviewed is that they have made user interface available on a browser, right? So if it is available in a browser, you can redirect through a firewall and can let people in and create their things or use their things or use their assets. Got the point? Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, still warm up.
And how will I configure this DNS server? You will send me some.
I was waiting for that question. I was waiting for that question. You install this Windows Server 2016 in a machine, right? And once you use, let's say, create a virtual machine with 2 GB, install the virtual machine, configure everything, then after that slide down the RAM. What do you mean by, what do I mean by sliding down the RAM? This is a machine, let's say, right? So power it off. Once you have powered it off, now you will get an opportunity to click on this and slide it down like a volume control.
Okay.
Got the point? Yeah. So that means install it with a fat RAM over there, and then just make the RAM thin.
Okay. So the VCA will work? Will still work?
Obviously, VCA will still work. You require one extra machine, that is a DNS server. That means by the side of your ESXi, you create one more machine, which is your DNS server. See, without DNS server, it's even going to work. Only you have to work with IP address. This is what I am coming to that. Relax. I have set up an example for you. But again, if you want to learn it with DNS, you have to just pay a bit of your head. Okay. So this machine is ready with its name. So come to local server. There are still configurations remaining. It's not initialized. So let it initialize. Firewall private is on. Switch off the firewall. It's not our job to set up firewall at every level. It's a job of networking guy. So switch off the firewall. So turn Windows firewall on or off. Turn off the Windows firewall. Turn off Windows firewall. So this is the second preliminary configuration that you have to do. Right? Okay. So let's close this one. This is done. Third one, remote management is enabled. Let it be there. Remote desktop is disabled. So we should enable this if you want the thing to be running a bit smooth. So allow remote desk connections to this computer. Click on this, click on OK, click on OK. Now, NIC teaming is disabled. We don't require to understand even this one. So Ethernet 0. So click on this, and this is the place where we can set in the IP address. So right click over here. Go to status. Let's go to status. Let's see what it has taken. So it has taken 192.168.124.199. Fine, excellent number. So that means it's exactly connected to my network over there. This is I can understand because it has taken my IP address. So I'll first of all do this thing, that I'll switch off the things that I don't require. So I'll switch off the IPv6 declare discovery protocol, because this will unnecessarily chew up CPU cycles. So click on this Internet Protocol version 4. Click on properties. Use the following IP address and type in the IP address over here: 192.168.124. Now let's take it as 18. If you remember that 18 was unused, right? So remember, 18 was unused. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, right? So what we'll do is that we'll use 18 over there, because 18 is not used at any point. So gateway, our gateway, I know my router is at 124.2. So this is the IP address of my router. And DNS server, my DNS server is 192.168.124.10. That means this is the IP address of my DNS server, which is the one where I created my A record. That system has this IP address. Click on OK and click on close. So once you have done that, call up your network guy and tell him to create a record without any mistake and without being late before you forget it. So click on, go to DNS and go to forward lookup zone, go to vclass.local, right click over here, new host record. So what was the name of my system? So my system has a name of VCSS01. So I'll come over here. VCSA01.vclass.local, and it has an IP address of 192.168.124.18. Okay, one done, one close, done. So that means a name, and the mapping to that name with this IP address is done. And you can see over here IP address that is designed by DHCP. Refresh this one. Microsoft. Remember, Microsoft, you either need to refresh or you need to restart. So Windows Defender, real-time protection on. Let it be there. I don't need to just mess up with this one. Feedback and diagnostics, I don't need to do a setting over here. Enhanced internet security, let me be off over here. Will require that. That means in Internet Explorer enhanced security, I have made it switched off. In servers, you will uninstall it, right? So I have made this security, but particularly will uninstall it. So time zone, change time zone. I'm in plus 530. So you are in what? What plus what or minus what?
Is you are here. I'm GMT +1. UTC +1.
UTC +1. Okay. Okay. So time is okay. Click on OK. And nothing much. It's done. Refresh it. And now close this console. Remember, this is the IP address 192.168.24.18. Close this IP address. Minimize this browser. Minimize this. Minimize this. Minimize this. Whatever. Think this as your laptop, which is connected to 192.168.124.0 network, right? So MSTSC 192.168.124.18. So username was administrt or administrator 123 and the rate. Okay. So this is the machine where we'll install vCenter server. So what we require, vCenter server setup file, right? So 120.168.124.18. There are so many machines here. It will confuse you if you can relax. Let me just minimize all these things. Okay. One 192.168.124.18. This is the machine where we have to install that, right? So we have to bring that file. So my file is located at //192.168.124.1.
This is the NAS server.
Yes, this is my NAS server, wherein I have all the files. Here. And this is the file that has installables, VIM. We used VCSA. Copy, put it under downloads.
For this DNS server, there is also, like, you have it already created, right? So
Correct.
if I need to create it, I will also need to have some image or some installable for DNS server.
Yes. No. It's DNS server does not require it's inbuilt. It's inbuilt. How will you install a DNS server? Let me guide you to that. Let's assume that this is your Windows Server 2016. You want to install DNS into that. So go to Server Manager. Click on Manage. Add roles and features. Click on Next. Click on Next. Click on Next. DNS server. Make this checkbox on. Click on Next, 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 Finish. Then DNS server will be ready. You will find DNS server over here under Tools.
Okay. And what about the image for Windows Server 16?
That I'll upload.
Okay. What configuration did you tell me? How much RAM and processor?
You install that Windows Server 2016 with 4 GB or 2 GB of RAM, and once it is installed, you have done all the preliminary configurations. Just switch down the RAM to something, what 700 mix, and do that.
Okay. But why is it so that at the time of installing I have to keep it more
At
and
the
later?
time of installation, more amount of RAM is consumed. Okay, so this wait a second. Come on, practicals. This is my DNS server, na. This has nothing inside that other than DNS. Got that? See the amount of processor and RAM being consumed. Task manager. This is my DNS server.
Yeah.
Okay. So go to more details. Performance. See the amount of RAM being consumed. I have a 2G. I have given it 2 GB. 1.4 GB is being consumed. I might have installed one or two more things inside that. Right. So I have already pushed in one or two more things inside that. So it's and this Google Chrome itself consumes too much. So let it be closed. See, 0.4. What do you mean by 0.4? 400 mix.
Where 0.4? I didn't see.
You didn't see that? Task Manager, it was showing 1.4 here. Remember? If you didn't mark it out, I cannot do anything. But it was 1.4. I closed Google Chrome and it came out to 1. 1 GB. Come on, it's running in 1
Yeah.
GB. It runs in 700 mix even.
Mm. But when I will install this VCD, then it will again consume more. Once the VCD is done,
So, but
then
again,
I could.
you will have a separate machine for DNS. You will have a separate machine for your vCenter server. Don't use that DNS. Same D machine has DNS and vCenter server. This architecture, dear.
Yeah. Okay.
Assume that you don't have this one. Leave it. You should have this. You should have this. Right? You get this remote console into a browser, and once you have got the screen or the configuration options inside a browser, there you create a 2016 over here and do the stuff.
Okay. So 2016 directly I create on VMware workstation. Sorry, this.
You can create this on VMware workstation, and inside ESXi you push that 2016 once again and create that inside the vSphere server inside this one.
Okay.
Okay, where did it go? those.
And for my EXSI also, I will have to check how much memory it has, because I think previously we created a small one.
Right. A whole lot of stuff. Once you start learning it now, you will find a whole lot of stuff there. Okay. So this ISO image is available. So you just right click over here, click on mount. It will be available over here in PC. Right. This is the installer. Double click this one and double click on October. And this interface is pretty friendly. Click on next. Click on this, click on next. I set the terms of license agreement, click on next. This is your platform services controller and vCenter server. Okay, let me explain a bit. Let's say you have got multiple vCenter servers. Okay, multiple ESXs served by one vCenter server. So you have got multiple ESXs, and multiple ESXs are multiple vCenter servers serving them, right? And all these vCenter servers are managed by one top boss called performance control. This platform services controller, PSC. Platform services controller is sitting at the top, and it serves your vCenter server, right? So this is the same architecture. We have platform services controller. There are several vCenter servers. That means do you want to deploy only vCenter server or platform services controller with vCenter? So this is the option available. You will have platform services controller and vCenter server, both of them available in the same system. This is not available at this point.
So in which case do we do it if we have more vCenter servers? In that case, we go for separate one.
Yes, that means you can practice it if you have a very big infrastructure, that create one vCenter platform services controller, then create vCenter server. Like that, you could go for an external deployment in this case. Okay. System name, and this is vcsa01.vclass.local. Click on this, click on next. Okay, so this is the name of your domain, and this is a separate name of the domain that is going to identify your virtual infrastructure. That means vclass.local is the name of the domain in DNS that you used earlier, let's say, right? Now you are using a virtual infrastructure, so you wanted it to be having a different name. So name it over there. So let's name it as my virtual class or something short, right? vClass. vClass is already there, isn't it? Name something short.
vCenter class.
vCenter dot local. Okay. vCenter.local, so that we don't get confused if we ever encounter the same word, vCenter.local. Okay. So 1 2 3 @ and my favorite password. Okay, so the password should be complicated over here. I am telling you the password. How do I type it? 1 2 3 @ capital A and DMIN. Right, this is the password, because it should be alphanumeric and this and that, otherwise it will complain you that this okay. My site name, so let's say that I'm installing this vCenter server at Kolkata location. So Kolkata, this is the name of the site. Click on this, click on next. So it's asking you for the service credentials over there. That means exactly it will install certain services. So what is the account that will be used to install the services over there? So this is the account, local system account. That means it will by default create some user account to manage the services. Click on this, click on next. It's going to use this as its internal database, not SQL, Postgres. click on this, click on next, and click on next. And if I don't want to join in any program, click on next, and just click on install, and it will start installation. It will significantly take almost 40 minutes in my case to install in yours. I am not sure how much it will take. Right. But see the configuration of the machine in a nutshell. Let me show you this configuration. Right click over here. That is the virtual machine that is holding this one is having 10 gigs of RAM. And it's having 2 microprocessors. That means it's having 2 virtual processors. That means when I created the virtual machine, I created virtual machine with 2 processors and 10 GB of RAM. Identical to the OVF file that we had.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that it's time to switch off now.
But it should be possible with my 8 GB RAM on my laptop.
See, I'll not tell no, I'll not even tell yes, right? So try it.
Okay.
Right. Try it, yeah.
And just wanted to show you this. I have set to the paging size. It is set to automatically decide by system, and it was set.
How much did you set? How much did you set?
I set it somewhere around. I think I have 8 GB of RAM, and it is also set to 8 GB.
Okay, leave it. Fine. Leave it. Don't change it. Use up to the extent that is required. You know what, Vibor, I suggest you to purchase an SSD and a CAD there, right? With 8 GB of RAM, you will be significantly able to learn at least 70% of the things. But purchase a SSD. This disk is a bottleneck. It will kill your time. That any practical you want to do, any lab you want to do, that is significantly to be done in 5 minutes. It will take almost 20-30 minutes to do under a normal hard disk, right? Purchase a solid state hard disk is a caddy that I showed you yesterday.
I think there is an extra hard disk attached to my laptop already. Let me check, because I had got one hard disk.
Purchase a solid state hard disk. I'm talking about solid state hard disk, SSD.
Okay.
Right, SSD and caddy, the solution that I showed you yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, Vibor, what is the time there?
6:45 in the evening.
6:45 in the evening, huh?
Yeah.
So you have kids?
Yeah, I have. 8 months old son.
What do you take them? Do you take them and sit with them? Do you make them study in front of you?
Just 8 months. Hello.
Okay. So what would be the time when? What time? If you what do you have your dinner?
I have dinner generally around 8:30.
8:30. Good time. So can we take a class at your? So what would be the time when you are at 9? Our time?
Your time at 9, it will be like 5 in the morning. Not even 5, 4:30.
4:30 in the morning, nah?
Yeah.
4:30 in the morning. And when do you go to sleep?
I go to sleep around 12.
12, nah? So that means you study that time or you do something. So Venkat was exactly expecting a class right in the morning.
Yeah, but that is quite early. If a little bit later, then it will be okay with me.
So if Venkat starts at 5 in the morning, so it would be around 11, 10 or something like that, isn't it? At your that is at your time zone. R5 is your 10.
Your
10.
5 in the morning?
You're 5 in the R5 in the morning. What is the time? What is the time there?
Your 5 in the morning will be midnight here. We are 4.5 hours behind.
4.5 hours behind. 4.5 hours behind. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be installed, right? So we'll take up the class tomorrow now. It's already 11:17.
Yeah, sure. Or if it gets like quite late for you, then we can do one thing. But then we will have to kind of uh, handshake the time every day. So if on some days I'm free earlier, then we can even have a class at 8:30 Indian time. But if I get some meetings, then we might have to postpone it to 5, like your 9:30. Is it okay? Because tomorrow I don't have anything specific, so I can even have it at 8:30. It's okay with me.
That means you can take class when we are at 11 p.m. 11 p.m. That means if I after my dinner and all. Let's say we start at this point 11 p.m. What is the time there? It's 6:30.
Yeah, that's okay. Like you want to start at this time.
I want to start at this time. Let's say I'm not sure about my decisions as of now.
Mm, yeah, I can manage.
Because even if you have calls and all, now you will be able to take up all the calls, finish off all your classworks.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll decide it afterwards. Leave it. So what is
But will
exactly
it
what
not
you?
be too late for you? It will be okay.
Come on. I sleep at 1 2 whatever. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
So exactly, my kids again wait for me and the dinner table, right?
Mhm.
They are knocking at the door. I don't have my dinner now. Chalo, ठीक है, no problem. So this installation is done. It will complete. Once it is
Mhm.
complete, we'll come back. So I'm pausing in here.
Okay, okay, yeah, sure. And
Fine.
you will upload this image for Windows
I'll
Server.
upload. I'll upload it. I'll upload it. Wait for some time. I'll upload it.
Okay,
Don't have to
okay,
call.
sure, 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 sure.
Okay.
Okay,
ठीक है. Okay. चलो.
okay.
Take care now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, thanks. Okay, bye.